Okay, yesterday we were learning about the moil. Who's supposed to be the moil? What happens if you promise the moil you're going to use him? Can you change your mind? What are the levels? The best one to take is one that's the best expert in the field. Then you take a righteous person and so on and so forth. Okay, the next aspect we'll skip a little bit. We'll go to the next important guy by a bris is what's called the Sandek. Sandek is the one that holds the baby actually at the time of the bris Milah. Okay? Now it says in halacha that the Sandek is a very important person. In fact, it says a Sandek is like bringing the Ketores. A Kohen would bring the Ketores every day, not the Kohen Gadol. The Kohen would bring the Ketores, the incense every day in the Beis Hamikdash. So it says that the Sandek that holds the baby at the time of the bris is equal to a Kohen bringing the Ketores, which was, by the way, the Gemara says that the Kohenim, when they brought the Ketores, there was a segula to get rich. The Kohenim that brought the Ketores got rich. Therefore, the din was in the Gemara says that every day a different Kohen did it. They didn't let the same Kohen do it because you have to spread the bracha. The only one who was able to do it as often as he wanted was a Kohen Gadol. The Kohen Gadol could do whatever he wants, whenever he wants. He could bring any korban when he wants. He could be Sandek when he wants. So therefore, based on that, it's brought down in Shulchan Aruch, the Shach brings down, that the custom is you don't have the same person as Sandek by the same family.
What is the name of
Sandek is by the guy that holds the bris.
I know,
The one that holds the baby. Okay. In Greek and Roman, Sandek is patrin and praklit, like a good advocate. That's the source of the word. Anyway, so therefore there's a custom that if let's say there's a family, you don't use the same Sandek twice in that family. Every time you give it to a different person. But in halacha it's brought down, in Poskim it's brought down, that there's a few exceptions to that rule. Number one, the Rav of the city can do it a few times. Why? Because in that respect, he's like the Kohen Gadol that could do it. Other poskim write that the father of the baby can do it a few times. Other poskim write the grandparents of the grandfather of the baby basically could do it a few times. But many places they were makbid, even the rabbi, even this, they would only do it, But most places they're makel to give it twice the same side. The grandparents are also lenient. The father of the baby is a Sandek, he could also do it a few times. Now, one second. There's an opinion that says, not everybody agrees with it, but there's an opinion that says that it's appropriate for the father of the baby to be the Sandek. Why? Because the uniqueness of the Sandek is that he is the one helping the bris. He's holding the baby while the moil is cutting. So he's actually Messiah. He's helping in the bris. Which is, by the way, therefore the halacha is, going off for a second, that if the father of the baby is in shul the day of the bris, by shachris, no tachnun. Sandek is in shul, that day he's going to be a Sandek for a bris, there's no tachnun. Or, it says in Shulchan Aruch, that what happens if the bris is going to be in the shul? Let's say there's going to be in this shul a bris later on, during the day. So even if the father's not there, the Sandek is not there, nobody's there, there's a minyan davening, the fact there's a bris going to be held in the shul later on, there's no tachnun for shachris. For mincha, the din is you do say tachnun. Unless if your mamish davening right after the bris next to the baby, so then that mincha, most people say you don't say tachnun. And that's what the Alter Rebbe holds. But other people say even then you say tachnun. So the Sandek is a very important person. So they say like this, there's some opinions, not everybody agrees with. Some opinions say that the father of the baby should really be the Sandek. Why? We learned yesterday that the obligation of the bris, to do the bris, is really on the father. The father really should be the moil. because he can't, so you hire a male. But if he can't be the male, let him be at least the helper in the bris by being a Sandek. But the world is not careful in that. Again, even if he's not, most people wouldn't. Sometimes the father, they take the Munkacher, the Minchas Elazar, was an expert moil. So he used to do brisin, he was Sandek and moil together. That means, Minchas Elazar did. He held the baby. I heard from my own, it's not a big deal to do. But he held the baby and he cut it also at the same time. So it was, he did both things together, which is an interesting thing. Okay, so somebody's asking something.
I was going to ask, can a grandfather that had, say, 5 boys or girls, whatever,
he can be a Sandek by girls.
Why? Oh, no. So can he do for each of his...
According to many...
But he had daughters, and for his grandchildren, can he do for each one of them? Is there any...
You mean if you had 5 daughters and each one had kids?
Right. He can do for at least one of them.
Yeah, for sure that he could do.
But no more than 2 or 3.
Saying their opinion that the grandfather could do it a few times. What?
Is it like halacha that they shouldn't, or that it's better to just...
It's brought down in the Shach, and Hilchas Milah brings down you don't do it, because, again, every day the Kohen did a different Ketores. So therefore, because it's school to get rich. Now by Sfardim, it's a big thing. Afterwards, they stand in line to get brachas from the Sandek. By Ashkenazim, we don't do that. But by Sfardim, they stand in line because the Sandek is a very holy guy at that time. So they would give a lot of brachas. I told him he should charge, make back his money. But it's interesting, in the halacha it says, but the halacha says this, that people would spend money to be a Sandek. People would spend money. I know Chassidim that would do that. And it says also that why is that? Because he's part of the mitzvah of Milah. He's doing it. Milah is a very important mitzvah, like we learned in many places. So therefore, people would pay money to be a Sandek. What?
Can babies uncle be a Sandek?
Yeah. Any Jew could be a Sandek. Now,
Anyone not be a Sandek?
yeah, if they're not Jewish. No, I'm saying if they're not. People are careful in the frum circles. They're careful. They take a Sandek that's a prominent person, knows how to learn and good midas, because
Especially if they're rich.
their expression is that the kids are follow a little bit like the Sandek. So you want, but halachically, as long as he's Jewish, it could be a Sandek. A woman cannot be a Sandek either. That's what's brought down. A woman cannot be a Sandek because it's not modesty. It's not modest that she's sitting there holding the baby. But halachically, a Sandek can be anybody. In fact, some poskim bring down that a Sandek, let's say it's the day of the bris, okay, and the Sandek or the male should get an aliyah. Which one comes first? Let's say they're both Yisraelim, and the father, let's say, is a Levi or a Kohen. So now you have 2 choices of Yisraelim, the Moil or the Sandek. So in halacha it says the Sandek has precedence over the Moil.
Wow.
That's how great the Sandek is. Huh?
Where's Rabbi Ben fall into that?
Aviyah ben Zachiv and Aliyah, yeah. But before the Moil and the Sandek, yeah. Okay, now the question, even the Pots can discuss who should be a Sandek, a relative first or a Talmud Chacham first, so different opinions. What they do. Shh. Okay, sometimes it's brought down, some people had a minhag, that the first Sandek goes to the father of the grandfather of the baby. And the second Sandek goes to the grandfather from the mother's side. And some go the opposite. Whatever, different customs, who should be Sandek. I had this many times. People ask me, they give birth, and the husband wants his father to be Sandek, and the mother wants her father to be Sandek. So what do you do? Yeah, but who says they're going to wait for the next time? Maybe they'll have only girls. Huh? Flip a coin. No, well, you could flip a coin, but there's a better Torah way. I tell people, you want to solve the issue, let Hashem decide. Make a lottery, a Torah lottery, and let Hashem decide who gets it. Now, what's a Torah lottery? A Torah lottery is not, let's say, you want to know, should the grandfather A, paternal or maternal, yeah? Right. So you write in a bowl, you write 2 pieces of paper, maternal, paternal, and then you pick it out. That's not a Torah girdle. A Torah girdle, according to halacha, is you have 2 bowls. One says paternal, maternal. One says zacha le zacha, merits and doesn't merit, and you pick one from each. In other words, one's going to say merits, and one's going to say paternal, maternal, and that's a Torah girdle. The other way is not a halacha girdle. Just picking out of a hat is halachically not a halacha girdle. According to Torah, halacha girdle is when you have 2 names in one thing and yes and no, and the other is zacha le zacha, whatever, and and then you pick one from each.
Does it make a difference who does it?
Who picks it? One that's not cheating. No, it doesn't matter who picks it.
So the first one that picks it determines it, basically.
Huh?
The first one that picks it.
No, Hashem determines it.
I understand.
Hashem determines who's going to pick which paper.
The second person has no choice because it's always picked first.
So I don't understand. There is redundancy here, isn't it? Because if you pick one that says go zaha, so he's disqualified. But even if he's zaha, he still has to go for the other one, right?
No. Paternal, maternal in one, zacha and lay zacha in the next.
Right.
Now you pick one of each.
Okay.
Now all you have to do is pick one of each. It's going to say paternal and maternal, and it's going to see zacha lay zacha. You don't have to pick twice because once.
Oh, so you pick from both and then you decide which one to go by, or you pick one.
You pick.
You just said you pick from both.
One from paternal, one from zacha lay zacha.
Okay.
So then, let's say you pick up paternal, and then you pick up zacha. So that means the paternal grandfather gets it. If you pick up paternal and lo zacha, that means the maternal one gets it.
Only one of them does it.
You can only have one Sandek per bris.
So the picking is done by a third party.
Right.
Right. I thought
There is something called Sandek Mu'ummad, which is also a prominent honor, by the way, and that's the one that holds the baby by the brachas and by the naming. It's called Sandek Mu'ummad, because he's standing. He stands when they do the brachas and that, so he's standing. It's called Sandek Mu'ummad. But that's also a very prominent honor. So what they do many times, they'll give this one and this one, then next time they'll switch it, whatever. They work it out, if they want to. If they don't want to, it ain't gonna happen. Okay, by the way, it says, what happens can you give a kid under bar mitzvah to be, a woman not, but can you give a kid under bar mitzvah? So some people say you could, and some people say that's only if there's nobody else, no adult there. If there's an adult, you shouldn't give a cotton to be Sandek, because, again, it's a very important honor that you don't give kids. But let's say you have a bris, nobody's there. Because we'll learn later, it's good to have a minyan at a bris milah. But what happens if you don't have a minyan? You could still do a bris. A chasana, we said, you cannot do without a minyan. A wedding, you're not allowed to do without a minyan. But a bris, you could do without a minyan. It's preferred to have a minyan. It's nicer, you know. But otherwise, okay. No.